Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to Clues by Sam. It's Wednesday, my dudes, and we have a tricky one today. And if you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it's a daily logic puzzle game where you have 20 people, and they may be criminals or innocents, and each of them may give you a clue to help you figure out who is what. And if you want to try it, which I encourage you to do, then there's a link in the description. It's free for everyone, and each day there's a new puzzle, so today's is this one. If you're stuck or if you just wanna go along with me, then I'm gonna try to explain what I do. So let's try right now. Stella telling us that two of Olivia's innocent neighbors are in row 3. Olivia is here. She has two people neighboring her in row 3, so both of them have to be innocents. And we know we don't know how many innocent neighbors she has. So that clue isn't helpful anymore. Let's look at Katie's. Off to a good start, thank you. Larry tells us that Gus is one of Katie's two innocent neighbors. Gus is innocent, and he's one of Katie's two innocent neighbors. Okay, so this clue tells us the total for Katie. And Katie already has two innocent neighbors, Gus and Larry, so we know that everyone else is a criminal. That's a lot of people right away. And I guess we don't need Larry's clue anymore. Now Hank tells us that only one of the three innocents neighboring Isaac is Larry's neighbor. One of three innocents neighboring Isaac, one of them is Larry. And another one of those is Larry's neighbor. Well, Larry and Isaac share two neighbors, Hank and Mudge. Hank is not an innocent, obviously, so the other one has to be. And there's one more innocent neighbor for Isaac that we haven't found yet. Now Mudge tells us that row 3 is the only row with exactly 3 innocents. So we know of the 3 innocents in row 3. They are Katie, Larry, and Mudge, so Noah has to be a criminal. And we know there's at least one more criminal here in row 2, because if both Isaac and Jason were to be both innocents, then we would have another column with 3 innocents. But it could be both of them. Oh, it couldn't be both of them innocents, but it could be that both of them are criminals. No one now tells us that all criminals in column D are connected. Well, we don't know how many criminals are in column D. So what do we know? We know that Isaac has only one more innocent neighbor, right? If it were Jason, then Fernando would have to be... Fernando, if you're watching this, you're a cop today. So congratulations on the promotion. And we have 2 criminals being separated in column B by Jason. So Jason couldn't be an innocent because Isaac couldn't have any more innocent neighbors, so Fernando would have to be criminal. That means that Jason is a criminal, but we don't know about Fernando. Fernando could be an innocent, even though he neighbors Isaac. And Terry doesn't matter. Now Jason tells us that there are more innocents among coders than any other profession. How many coders do we have? 3 coders. Zoe. So that's 3. What other professions do we have? Farmers. There's 2 farmers who are already innocent. So if Zoe were to be a criminal, we would have 2 professions with the same number of innocents. So Zoe has to be an innocent as well. And now Zoe tells us that there's an odd number of criminals in row 1. Since we know that row 1 couldn't have 3 innocents, because if it were to have 3 innocents, then 2 rows would have 3 innocents, and that can be as said by Mudge. And if row 1 had 2 innocents, then it would have 2 criminals, which is an even number. So that couldn't be as well, which means that row 1 has 3 criminals and only 1 innocent. That innocent could be here, neighboring Isaac. oh, actually, is gonna have to be here neighboring Isaac, because Isaac still needs a third innocent neighbor. And that innocent neighbor is gonna be in row 1. So we know for sure that Betty is a criminal. Yeah. Now Betty tells us that Vince has exactly 2 innocent neighbors. Vince has Stella as a neighbor who is innocent. He has 2 more innocents. Which one of them is going to be an innocent? Did I say that he has 2 more innocents? He has 2 more neighbors. One of them has to be an innocent, the other one a criminal. But what do we know about these people? And how do we figure that out? I guess we don't figure that out. We figure that Vance is not an innocent, because if Vance were to be an innocent, then row 5 would have 3 innocents, and it can't be, so we know that Vance is a criminal. And now Vance tells us that exactly 1 doctor has a criminal directly to the right of them. Ooh, we have Larry, a doctor who has an innocent to the right of him. So that's not our doctor. What other doctors do we have? Clyde. No other doctors? Nope. So Clyde has to have a criminal to the right of him, which means that Emily is a criminal. And either Clyde or Fernando are gonna be an innocent and the other one a criminal. Now Emily tells us that only 1 person in column B has exactly 2 innocent neighbors. That's Larry. Larry is in column B. Oh, Larry has 3 innocent neighbors. I was wrong. Has 4 actually. Vance has 2 innocent neighbors, which means that Clyde couldn't have 2 innocent neighbors. So we know that Isaac's a criminal. Isaac now tells us that only 1 row has exactly 2 innocents. That row is row 5. Where was I? I forget it completely. We don't need Emily's clue anymore. Only 1 of the 3 instances neighboring Isaac's Larry's neighbors. Well, that doesn't help us anymore. Oh, we had a clue about a row with 2 innocents, right? Was that it? Isaac told us that only 1 row has exactly 2 innocents. That row is row 1. No, that row has to be row 2. Row 2? Row 5. And row 1 has only 1 innocent, so we know that row 4 can't have 2 innocents, which means that Terry is a criminal. Now Terry tells us that Zaya and Gus have an equal number of innocent neighbors. Zaya has 2 innocent neighbors, which means that Gus has to have 2 innocent neighbors. They are Katie and Larry, so we know that Clyde is a criminal, Fernando is an innocent, and now Fernando tells us that both innocents in column C are connected. So we know that Zaya is the innocent here. Oh my god. I read column C and I thought about row 5. So we know that both innocents in column C are Mudge and Stella. So Zaya is not an innocent, Zaya is a criminal, and then Uma is an innocent. Well, how long did that take? Less than 9 minutes. I'm not sure the game pauses. I'm not sure the game pauses when I leave the screen, but this is Clues by Sam for today. I hope you had a good time, and I'll be streaming tonight, Mist, again, and I had a big breakthrough while I was thinking about the puzzle we're currently in, but I didn't solve it yet, so I want to solve it today with you on stream. So if you want to see that, be there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, in any case, with more Clues by Sam.